The Thames stops flowing on a Tuesday morning. Not slowly, just stops. Like someone hit pause on the whole river. Fishermen notice it first. Their lines go slack, the current dies, and the water sits there. Flat. Wrong. Under their feet, something's been building for weeks. Micro-earthquakes so small your coffee mug barely rattles. The kind of tremors seismologists mark down and forget about. But they're not stopping. They're accelerating. 3 days later, the smell hits central London. Sulfur. Rotten eggs mixed with burning plastic. It seeps up through the tube stations first. Victoria, Westminster, King's Cross. Commuters cover their noses, thinking it's a gas leak. Transport police evacuate 2 stations. Engineers find nothing. But the smell keeps coming, thicker now, almost visible in the humid morning air. Then the ground temperature starts rising. Not everywhere, just patches. Random spots in Hyde Park where the grass turns brown overnight. A playground in Southwark where the rubber padding melts into sticky black puddles. An old woman in Islington calls the fire department because her basement floor is too hot to walk on barefoot. They measure it, 43 degrees Celsius. The concrete beneath her house is cooking from below. By Friday, the pigeons are gone. Every single one. Trafalgar Square sits empty for the first time in 300 years. Rats pour out of the sewers in waves, moving north, moving anywhere but here. Dogs refuse to walk in certain neighborhoods. Horses at the household cavalry stables kick through their stall doors, screaming. Saturday morning, 6:47 a.m. The first fissure opens in the middle of Oxford Street. It's not dramatic at first, just a crack, maybe 30 centimeters wide, running down the center line between the shops. Steam pours out, thick, white, endless. Within minutes, it's a wall of vapor 10 meters high, swallowing traffic lights and bus stops. The heat is instant. A cyclist too close gets hit by the steam, and his jacket melts into his skin before he can even scream. By noon, there are 17 fissures across the city. They follow no pattern. One splits the pitch at Emirates Stadium right down the middle. Another opens inside Waterloo Station, swallowing an entire platform. The tube system starts flooding with superheated gas. Trains stop mid-tunnel. Passengers break windows trying to breathe. Some make it out. Most don't. The government evacuates central London that evening. 8 million people. No plan. No time. The M25 turns into a parking lot within an hour. Families abandon cars and walk. The Eurostar runs non-stop shuttles until the rails buckle from ground heat. Heathrow closes when the runways start splitting. Private helicopters lift off from rooftops until the air gets too thick with ash to see. Then Sunday happens. 4:32 a.m. Magnitude 7.8 earthquake centered directly under Southwark. The city doesn't just shake, it jumps. Entire buildings lift off their foundations for a split second before slamming back down. The Shard's windows explode outward in a glittering cascade. Tower Bridge's northern tower collapses into the Thames. The river, already disturbed, starts boiling. Literally boiling. Fish float up cooked. The few remaining boats capsize in the steam. And then, the bulge. Green Park starts rising. Slowly at first. 1 meter. 2 meters. Buckingham Palace's gates bend and snap. The palace itself tilts, walls cracking like pottery. The entire area swells upward like a blister forming on skin. 5 meters. 10. 20. The ground glows red through the cracks. You can hear it now. A low-frequency rumble that rattles your teeth, makes your vision blur. By dawn, the bulge is 50 meters high. Satellite images show it clearly. A massive dome of earth and rock pushing upward from below, centered on what used to be St. James's Park. The heat signature is so intense it blinds infrared cameras. Seismographs across Europe go flatline, not from lack of activity but from too much. The needles just vibrate uselessly. Then at 9:15 a.m., it opens. Not an explosion. Not at first. The bulge just splits. A vertical crack appears, widening, and from it comes light. Not red, not orange. White. Pure thermal white. The kind of light that burns your retinas through closed eyelids from 3 kilometers away. The blast that follows isn't loud. It's too big for loud. It's a physical force that travels faster than sound. The shockwave levels everything within 2 kilometers instantly. Buildings don't collapse, they atomize. Concrete turns to powder. Steel vaporizes. The Thames gets pushed sideways, the entire riverbed exposed for a few seconds before the water crashes back as steam. A column of ash and rock punches into the sky, 30 kilometers up in 4 minutes. The mushroom cloud, because that's what it looks like, spreads out when it hits the stratosphere, blocking the sun. But this isn't volcanic ash. It's pulverized city. Microscopic fragments of office buildings, buses, bridges, people, all mixed with molten rock from 6 kilometers underground. The pyroclastic surge comes next. A ground-hugging avalanche of superheated gas and debris moving at 300 kilometers per hour. It flows like water, following streets and valleys. Everything it touches hits 500 degrees instantly. Cars melt. Trees explode from internal steam pressure. The suburbs ignite, not from flames, but from pure radiant heat. Cambridge burns. Reading burns. Brighton, 60 kilometers away, reports fires starting on rooftops from the thermal pulse. By noon, the UK is dark. Not twilight, dark. The ash column has spread over the entire country, blocking 90% of sunlight. Temperature drops 15 degrees in an hour. Ash starts falling. Thick, heavy, like gray snow that doesn't melt. It piles up on windshields, collapses roofs, chokes engines. Every breath tastes like cement dust and blood. The second eruption happens Tuesday. Bigger. The magma chamber empties itself in a sustained blast that lasts 6 hours. The eruption column reaches 45 kilometers into the mesosphere. Volcanic lightning crackles through the ash cloud, purple and white, striking the ground in continuous chains. The sound reaches Paris, Berlin. You can hear it in Stockholm. A low, grinding roar that doesn't stop. London. London is just gone. Not destroyed. Erased. The caldera that forms is 12 kilometers across and over a kilometer deep. It fills with lava, a lake of molten rock where the city used to be. The heat is so intense that it generates its own weather system. Ash tornadoes spiral up from the caldera rim. The rain that falls nearby is black and acidic, stripping paint off buildings, killing anything it touches. Britain becomes an island of ash. 20 centimeters fall across the Midlands in 3 days. 50 centimeters in Scotland. Buildings collapse. The power grid fails completely. Substations buried, lines down. No way to repair anything. Water treatment plants stop working. The Thames, what's left of it, runs gray and toxic. Livestock dies in fields, buried standing up. Bodies lie where they fell. Impossible to reach, impossible to bury. And it keeps erupting. Smaller blasts. Every few days, weeks. The caldera becomes a permanent volcanic feature, venting gas and ash continuously. The ash cloud spreads across Europe. Crop failures in France, Germany, Poland. Temperatures drop globally. Not enough to call it an ice age, but enough. Enough that the growing season shortens. Enough that food supplies crash. By winter, 30 million people have left the UK. Those who remain survive isn't the right word. Exist. In the ash. In the dark. In shelters where you can't see your hand in front of your face at noon. Respiratory diseases kill more than the eruption itself. Silicosis, pneumonia, ash compaction in the lungs. It solidifies when it gets wet, turns into something like concrete. You drown in it. Slowly. The UK doesn't recover. How can you rebuild a country when the capital is a lava lake? When the ash keeps falling? When the land itself is toxic? The government relocates to Edinburgh, then to Belfast, then just dissolves. There's no tax base, no infrastructure, no reason to stay. Within 5 years, Britain is a volcanic island. Population, less than 5 million. Scattered communities living in the clean zones. Far north Scotland, parts of Wales where the ash was thin. They farm in greenhouses using artificial light. They trade with ships that dock carefully, quickly, trying not to breathe too deep. London becomes a pilgrimage site. Crazy, but true. People hike to the caldera rim to look down into the glowing lake, to see where it happened, where millions lived. They bring photos, letters, toys, leave them at the edge and walk away. The heat rising from below makes the air shimmer. On clear days, rare, you can see the shapes of buildings in the lava, steel frameworks that haven't melted yet, standing like skeletons in the red. Geologists say it'll stay active for centuries. The magma chamber was enormous. Bigger than Yellowstone, bigger than anything we thought possible in Europe. It'll vent and erupt and smolder for longer than human memory, maybe longer than humans. Standing at the caldera rim, you can't help but think, we built a city over this, millions of us, for 2,000 years, right over the top of something that could wake up and erase it all in an afternoon, and we just didn't think about it, didn't believe it could happen. The Thames doesn't flow here anymore. The river just ends. At the caldera edge, it pours in as a waterfall, steam rising where it hits the lava. That hiss, that constant roar. Some say it sounds like the city screaming. Others say it's just water on rock. But at night, when the lava glows brighter, it's hard not to see shapes in it. Hard not to imagine faces.